in Parshas Tazria, V'yidaber Hashem Moshe Lemor, Dabrel b'nei Yisrael Lemor, Isha ki Tazria v'yolda zochar, a woman who conceives and she gives birth to a male, v'tomo shivas yomim, she's contaminated for 7 days. Himei nidas dvosa sitmo, similar to the days of her flow, her menstrual flow, she's contaminated. So Rashi cites Chazal, the Gemara, that what happens if a woman has a dry birth? There's no blood. The actual birth itself brings about the identical contamination as if a woman has a flow during menstruation. So over here, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh points out something very interesting. Normally, it takes a full term is 9 months, but yet the pasuk says, "Isha ki sasri v'yolda zochar." She conceives and she gives birth to a male. What do we immediately speak about at the time of conception? So he cites, based on the Zohar, that when does the neshama enter into the child, into the fetus? Conception. So the Torah reveals to us at the time of conception, that's when the neshama, the soul, goes into the child, not when it develops into a fetus. Although the Gemara tells us that until 40 days, it's considered just mucus, it's considered liquid, maya ba'alma. Therefore, if let's say you abort a child, a pregnancy before 40 days, it's not considered you've killed anything alive. It's not considered an abortion. An abortion, in terms of the laws of abortion, is only after 40 days. Before 40 days, it's not considered. The Gemara refers to it as maya ba'alma, it's just liquid. That's all it is. But it doesn't make a difference. Although the fetus hasn't begun developing yet as a fetus, once the ovum is fertilized, which is conception, the neshama already enters at that point, whether it's a male, whether it's a female. But not only that, a person based on his own level of kedusha, and his kavanah, his intent, that will determine what kind of soul he's going to draw into that potential pregnancy. At the time of conception, everything's determined then. And now we just have to wait the gestation period for the fetus to develop. But in terms of the quality of the neshama is determined at the time of conception, whether it's a male, whether it's a female, and also the many neshamas that a person is able to draw from at the time of conception, and that is based upon one's intent, one's level of kedusha, the husband and wife at the time, what kind of child, the potential of what that child is going to be in the future.
So conception
is everything.
So Rav just said that it takes 40 days.
After 40 days, it becomes life. Life means the physical sense.
So the neshama enters.
The neshama enters at the time of conception. No. The neshama itself, no. There's an Orach Chaim HaKadosh in regarding Avram Avinu. It says Hanefesh Ha'osa B'choron. So Orach Chaim HaKadosh says, although Avram wasn't able to have a child, and Sarah made it was barren, but what's the Nefesh Ha'osa B'choron? Every time he had relations, he drew neshamos into this world. So when it says he took the nefesh ha'osa b'choron, the nefesh that he made in choron, it's not speaking of physical beings. We speak of the neshamas that he had brought into this existence. That's what he had taken to him when he left. Or kazdim, the nefesh ha'osa b'choron. Because every time a person has relations, cohabits, one draws neshamas into this world. So, but of course, if a woman conceives, one's wife conceives already, the Gemara tells us that speaks about the first trimester, the second trimester, the third trimester. The first trimester, it's very questionable whether it's actually going to happen, because a woman could miscarriage. The second trimester, it's good for the child, and it's not good for the woman, meaning the act of cohabitation. The third, it's good for the woman and also good for the child, because the Gemara tells us, the Medrash says that Basheva, David had many wives, David HaMelech. He had 18 wives. And the Medrash tells us that Bathsheba, understanding that the more she engages in procreation with David, the child will be a more special child in terms of health-wise and otherwise. Therefore, she herself, although there were other wives, although she was a primary wife, Basheva, I mean, she was the mother of Shlomo Melech, she would push herself in there and encourage David that she should be the one that he should cohabit with, because she understood this would be in the best interest of the child that's going to be born ultimately after 9 months. Okay.
So what happens to these neshamas? This is